4 traffic, helicopter 500 Kilo Victor, taking off east taxiway with a north turnout to the left.
Portland General Electric has had a helicopter for many, many years, and they saw early on the importance of having a helicopter to help provide safe, reliable power to our customers. It has always been a very safe operation and continues to be that way now. With this helicopter in an average year, we'll fly a little over 20,000 miles. So we do a lot of flying every year. Probably the most recognizable thing we do is line patrols. And line patrols are very common, and it's the first thing people think of with a power company helicopter. And that's a big heart and soul of what we do, and probably a little over half of our flight hours.
We're looking for insulators, shot out conductor, damage on the structure itself.
It is a prey. Yeah, we get a picture of that.
Then if we find a problem, we circle it in the helicopter so we can get good pictures. That way the general foreman gets a crew rolling to fix that. When you're talking about time frame and thoroughness, the helicopter gives us the advantage to be able to cover far more area at a lot quicker pace. Recently, we had a situation out on the Grizzly Malin 500 line where we experienced some vandalism. And by using the helicopter and patrolling the line, we were able to see where the damage had been sustained and bring in a crew to fix the problem and get the line up and running. The sooner we can find the problem, the quicker the problem can be fixed and the sooner the line can be energized. That's what our job is to make sure the customer gets the service as fast as possible and we can get that turnaround and get that outage taken care of. If we can help any entity within the company, it's a benefit for all.
You just dumped off of that side there. This is an interesting territory because we've had a bird in it. It's been occupied since we've owned the land. We do three things with the helicopter primarily. One is raptor surveys, the other is noxious weed surveys, and then the third one is just an inspection of the project lands around here. The helicopter allows us to cover a lot of ground in a really short period of time. We have one spot where we have a lot of raptors that are nesting in this one area. If I send two of us out on the ground, it's going to take us about 6 days to cover that territory. The helicopter, we can cover the whole project area in about 3 hours time. So it's really an efficient way to cover a lot of ground. We've got a lot of golden eagles and bald eagles nesting in these canyons. And we do 3 surveys a year usually. The first one is occupancy, where we just go through, we know where the territories are for the most part. We just swing on by, we want to see birds in the territory. Usually we'll do that one twice. And then we look for productivity. That one goes into a lot of state databases. The state's doing a lot of monitoring of these raptors, and it's just a great way to go get your data, get out of there quick. And the birds are interesting. People think, oh, you scare them. I don't think we've ever flushed a golden eagle off the nest when they're sitting there. They look at us as we go by like, I've never eaten one of those. They do. They don't move. They just kind of stare at you like, whatever, I don't care. It's a great tool. They look like they're building stuff there.
In the fall, when we do just an inspection up here at Round Butte, we literally pick the maps up and fly the properties just looking for stuff that's going on out there. I mean, we find where fires were that we didn't know there were fires out there. We do find people that are trespassing on the land, building hunting blinds and kicking roads in. It gives us a different perspective.
We're going to cover about 13,000 acres here in a matter of an hour and a half. It gives us a different vantage point that we don't see from a pickup truck.
One of the interesting missions we do is the fish survey, and what that involves is a biologist, fish biologist for PGE has an antenna mechanism and a machine that receives radio signal from tagged fish, and they can track their progress through the dams up into the rivers where they end up. And it's an interesting project that we follow slowly along those rivers, and it tags and gives us numbers and codes to tell us which fish are making it up the river, and that's something we do 4 or 5 flights a year.
A lot of this stuff it would take a day to hike into, and if you're going to track the whole creek, then you're going to spend a month just hiking around, when we can do it in a day in the helicopter. Actually, just a couple hours in the helicopter, truthfully. So yeah, it's nearly impossible to do otherwise.
One of the many missions we do with the helicopter are photo missions, and those involve whether it's still pictures with a digital SLR camera that can get in tight on something, or getting a video camera out to circle a project and get some details about it for documentation for further use. So there's lots of video projects as well that are a very important part of what we do. We do vegetation surveys with our right-of-ways a couple times a year in the spring and the fall. We'll have engineering flights for future project planning. We'll have flights for insurance to look and get a perspective of the project. So you could be doing 3 or 4 different missions within 1 week that have very diverse mission profiles. But every one of these operations, the first, middle, and last thing we focus on is safety.
You got the power line coming off of that ridge, going right down to that distribution poles right next to the road there. Got it.
One thing that's very critical is everybody on board is a crew member and equally responsible for our safety. So no matter who you are sitting in that cockpit, you can call out, hey, do you see that? Hey, I'm not comfortable with that weather. If one of those 3 people is not comfortable, we're all uncomfortable. I've flown news, I've flown military, flown some other missions like that, and they're interesting, and I have to admit, it's a fun job. I don't sit there Sunday night dreading going to work on Monday morning. I really enjoy my job, I enjoy what I do, always have. But when flying with PGE and doing this mission, it's very fulfilling to see that what I'm flying has results. When we go fly and find an outage and get power turned on for our customers and get their lights on quicker, you feel like you've done something very productive in helping the community. When you go and find damage before a line goes out, it helps everybody. So doing these kind of missions where you see results from what you do is very fulfilling.